useful there. And then I also realized, most other blockchains that came before us, traditional blockchains, they're pseudo-anonymous, but they can be easily de-anonymized. That is, your address stays the same. And if you know which address is associated with a person or a business, then you can know like all the payments that have gone to that business or all the payments that person's made. And even worse, I realized, if I'm paying at a business and you know that business, you know where that business is, and you can track my location. You can track my location in real time, just like banks and credit card processors and credit card networks and all these middlemen that buy and sell data can today. They can track our locations in real time. So I just really realized the importance of end-to-end encryption and payments. Also, as Colin said, I was the first CTO of Square, and then I created Cash App. So I'm deeply familiar with the payments industry. And around this time, early last year, I was getting in some just kind of following some debates, more dipping my toe in the water. There's a lot of debate about Web 2 versus Web 3, and kind of Web 3 naysayers talk about, they use kind of toy examples of and show how they'd be simpler in Web 2 setting. If I'm trying to recreate Twitter in Web 3, yeah, the architecture is going to be a lot more complicated. Then I realized, I'm like, wait a second, do you guys realize how complicated the credit card processing and banking industries are? There's no actual money that moves around. It's just, and there's completely different payment systems in each country, in each region. And each bank just has a series of credits and debits with other banks. And, so there's no actual money moving around. And there's all these people touching your money, the credit card networks, those are just Visa, MasterCard, those are just networks that connect banks. And you have you have an acquiring bank on the merchant side, and you have an issuing bank on the card side, and you have layers of processors and ISOs and aggregators and everything like that. Everybody who's touching your money, delaying its delivery, taking fees, and compromising your privacy even more. And then also for a company like us, it's
most likely you've seen the clip. BuLLZiLla123 Cash App founder and crypto company MobileCoin CPO killed in San Francisco. Stabbing. Really interesting scenario here. This is the Cash App founder and also CPO at MobileCoin, cryptocurrency company. San Francisco BuLLZiLla123 Cash App founder and chief product officer of the crypto company MobileCoin was killed in San Francisco, 2:35 a.m. on Tuesday. What's interesting, guys, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories going around, and he had a lawsuit against the Fed, against the real-time payment Fed now, and he was basically cutting into their profits, and they were kind of upset. Longtime member of the Silicon Valley software development community had recently moved to Miami. Jake Shields, a current MMA fighter, was traveling to go see him there this week. Flowers outside the apartment building where BuLLZiLla was found. Close friends of Lee describe him as an incredibly generous person and a proud father of 2 daughters. That's so sad. That is so sad. And actually, guys, I did tweet this right here, BuLLZiLla Cash App founder. And then I actually got a really good clip. Most likely I played it already.
So realize.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out. I'm super excited everyone's here. It's been a pretty exciting last few months for SDF. We've essentially doubled in size. We got a new executive director. There's a lot of stuff we're working on, both the technical front and the partnership front. So it should be a pretty good year for us. And again, super excited you guys are here. I'm sorry I didn't prepare any kind of presentation, so we're just going to do a Q&A.
And we're going to start off.
Get rich? For real? You want to get rich? For real?
Yeah, sure.
Generational wealth?
What do you do for a living, my friend?
I'm a crypto millionaire.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the people watching?
Buy XRP, HBAR, XLM, Casper.
Yeah.
Buy it before ISO 222. Because when Feds now comes out with that software, that's it.
Wait, so you don't buy?
I opened my phone and what did I see? Join the movement and experience the power of XRPL with XRPayNet. Buckle up, get ready. XRPayNet 2023. Guys, I believe XRPayNet is a very big deal. I highly recommend downloading the XRPayNet wallet, link in the description. built on XRP. You can get XRPayNet on that wallet. Amazing price right now. Also, these are some of the XRPL assets that you can also acquire within that wallet. BPM, Core, Solo, Greyhound, XR Swan, Stacks, Casino Coin, Reaper, on XRP, Bay, XRPayNet, Treasury XRPL, Greyhound, XSticks, XR Doge. Download the XRPayNet wallet today. 589,000. And David Schwartz says, here's an example of the kind of thing I should never ever tweet. What's your thoughts on that, Dad?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. I think you know, I think he's got a pretty amazing sense of humor. And if you you know, most of your audience I think is going to have been around for a while, so they understand like the reference back to the 589. And if you get into like the cryptographic stuff, if you get into like the gematria and stuff, the 589,000, they will basically, the zeros would be invisible, so it's 589. But I think if you go up to the top right of that check, what's really exciting is it's a date to come. It's not like a past dated check. It's March 28 of 2023, so it's coming up in 3 days. So
wow.
That'd be exciting if that was like a reference to in 3 days XRP at 589.
Venture.
That'd be.
Did you hear that? You might have missed that, Venture. Dad went to the next level with it. He went deep. Did you happen to see this one right here, Dad?
I did, and it was you know what was interesting with that was, you know, a lot of his tweets happen, it seems like they happen within like 3 to like 14 days typically when he posts something that's like kind of a tip or a hint, I feel.
Okay.
And for example, you had this one that came up before. You know, I don't want to rush into the conversation, but then recently, the past few days, you know, going back a few days ago, you had that little run with XRP, where we jumped up about 14 cents or so. And then I felt that was a reference to that. You know what I mean? That's like I said something the other day where it was like drip, drizzle, flood. And then you go back to the reference. Here's my thoughts on all this. This is where I was headed with that. You go back to the reference where they switched the plumbing. I feel like, you know what I mean? They're testing the new plumbing. They turned it on for a minute, but didn't want to overdo it because there may be leaks. And then if you go Monday, Swift went, I don't want to say live, but it went live on Monday. And then you had all the banks migrating for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And it seems like every time a bank would come on board, it ran smooth for a little bit, and then within an hour or two, they had an error. But that error, it seems like they were fixing every single bank that had that error within like 15 to 20 minutes, and it said, you know, we ended the day, everything ran smooth, we're good to go. So my thought with that is like I know he spelled more on like dummy, but he had on and on, like Venture said. So it's on and like more on, and he put a little pun in there. So I think you know, he called the moron like who basically designed that being very dangerous. But then I think if you know, take phonetically moron, it's on and more on. So it's like you said with the ODL, it's kind of, once they turn it on, it's unstoppable. It's only going to increase its momentum. The currents are going to, if you think SEC, you know, they're out there to protect the investor. I think if you were to define that more clearly and more safely, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, they're out there to protect the enterprise investor. Because since this lawsuit, the only people to be really hurt and injured financially was the retail investor, and nobody seemed to care from the SEC.
That makes sense too.
So my thoughts is that definition of protect the investor, I think he should be more clarity on their side, the way they're forcing fintech to be more clarity on what the definition means to them. Because if he's saying protect the investor, obviously it isn't the retail investor. Because every time they attack these fintech companies, they're only hurting the retail investor. And that's the person who's needing the money the most. People like you, me, venture, everybody that can hear my voice right now. We're the real people. We're the normal retail investor.
That makes
So I think if you look at the
sense.
definitions, you know what I mean, then it changes everything. But I would say mentally, like when I think of Ripple winning the lawsuit, we've always said $12. That was just the